We expect the number to increase in the coming days. I hope so. And since this is my first class with you, I'll be taking 6 sessions with you of 2 hours each. And the schedule timings would be from 3 to 5. That would be the schedule timings. And the title of my course is English in Daily Life, right? And the course code is BEGLA135. I hope you all are clear with it. The name of the course.
Yes,
Yes.
madam.
course
Yes, madam.
yes. Good to
Yes.
hear you. It's such a music to my
Yes, ma'am.
ear. Wonderful. Yes. So I'm also excited because this is my first
Yes,
experience of
madam.
online counseling. So, and that too, I can see these bright faces and all exciting faces, huh? So we hope to have some great sessions, and all sessions they would turn out to be as I'm assuming only if you students you also participate. So let's make it let's hope that they are going to be interactive sessions, communicative sessions, and I'll have a very clear cut methodology as in how I'm going to go through my 6 sessions. There would be a provision of PPT, but more would be like more discussions from my side. And I would like my students to interact with me more. PPTs would only be in the mode of giving directions to the lectures, and so that we can cover the maximum possible in the available time, right? So,
Okay, madam.
okay, yeah.
Okay, madam.
So
Thank you.
now, since I understand that this is a group of Bachelor of Social Work, all of you are into social, enrolled in social work program. Is it so?
Yes,
Yes.
please.
Yes.
Great.
Yes, ma'am.
Exactly.
So yes, so I'm quite confident that you all are very inclined to this very emerging and also very much needed field of study, which is the social work. Are you here by choice, or are you here by being left with no other option? Are you here by choice?
Ma'am, I just told it because I really interested on social work uh, 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 course. I'm from Nigeria.
I understand that all
Um,
of you are here because you are passionate about it. Yeah, Faisal wants to say something. The
my
rest of
name is
you can mute your mic. The rest of you, please mute your mic. Abdul Salam, you mute
my
your
name.
mic. Yes,
Abdusalam,
Faisal.
Abdusalam, please mute your microphone. We can't hear anything. Abdusalam.
Yeah, he's muted his mic. I can
Yes,
manage it. Okay, the students they
yeah,
needn't
my,
mind. Yeah, Faisal, you were saying something.
my name is Faisal Abdullah from Nigeria.
Great.
Actually, social work. Uh,
Yeah, tell me, Faisal, you have to
yeah,
say something?
yeah, yeah. I want to say because social work is my passion since when I was in secondary school. So I get opportunity to get myself here. I'm very happy and I'm glad to Almighty Allah for having
Yes.
myself in this.
Yes.
Uh,
Great, Fazil. Yeah. So you you feel very privileged that you're a part of this particular course, and
Excuse, madam.
you also feels very privileged, to have wonderful students like you.
Yes, of
So
course, ma'am. Excuse, madam.
yes. So there are Aminu Bashir wants to say something. So then, since this is a first class, so I guess it can be a warm-up session wherein all of you can come up for a brief time, as in maybe I can give 10 to 15 minutes to that, and you can share as in kind of what exactly you're looking forward to and how you're feeling being a part of this particular course, and especially the BEGLA 135, which is English in Daily Life. So, Aminu, you want to say something? Aminu Bashir.
Yeah, good morning, good morning, everyone. I'm Aminu
Good
Bashir from
morning.
Nigeria. Can you hear me? Good morning. Good morning.
Yeah, just go on. We can hear you. Just go on.
I'm Aminu Bashir from Nigeria. Please, my question is about the structure of this course. The fact that it's practicing social work practicing. How are we going to be undertaking it? Like, what I usually know about social work here in Nigeria, because they do in BSc and diplomas. When it comes to this one, they have like kind of this thing, visit to centers, rehabilitation centers, um, correctional centers. So I think this is more in line with the practicing, and we are taking this course online. How is it going to with us? Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Doctor. Hello, ma'am. We can't hear you, madam.
You can hear me now?
Yeah.
Yes, we
Clear
hear you
enough?
now, madam.
Clear enough, right?
Yes, please.
Okay. So, what I'm saying here, Grace is also here. Grace wants to say something?
Grace is also here. Grace wants to say something.
No,
Yeah,
no.
uh,
No.
hi
Felicia.
everyone. I have read.
Please listen to
Okay.
Yeah, I'm Aminu
our
Bashir.
mics.
Hi there. Hi there. I have raised a question.
I think most of you have many things to say, but I think because of
Yes.
the lack of clarity in the audio, it ends up kind of taking a bit of time. But what I essentially understand that all of you are actually looking forward to each and
Actually
every
looking forward to each and every question.
uh, be it
Um,
uh, be it the English
Be
classes
it
or be it the
be
other
it the
courses
English
also.
classes or be it the other courses also.
Is my voice echoing?
Is my voice echoing?
Yes, please.
Please switch off. Please mute your microphones. Many students have
Please
switched
mute
on their
your
microphones.
microphones.
Please switch off. Yeah. So anyway, so all my 40 or 41 students who are there in the class, I understand that all want to, yes, all want to say something or the other, very nice and very positive. And most of them, which I can understand that, they are, as I said, looking forward to these online classes, be it the English classes or be it other classes which will be there in the pipeline. So it would be a great journey, I guess, with all of you. And we would try to make maximum possible use of the time available. And if you have any queries, anything, you just write in the chat box. I can read, because if you start switching on your microphones, then it's a complete chaos, right? So we will not be able to make much use of the time. So anyway, on my screen, I can see a couple of my students, and I'm already familiar with a few faces. It's nice to know people across the globe. So yeah, so this is a very great beginning, I guess. We've already made a great beginning. Now, what I understand that, in Africa, because since most of the countries which I can see, they are from there. So Okay, okay. I can read your comments in the chat box. So what I say is that most of the English proficiency courses or English language speaking courses in Africa, they face a lot of challenges. Challenges in terms of pedagogical skills. That is what I mean. The teaching learning skills. They're facing challenging in terms of something which is political in nature, right? And many other challenges, the social challenges, economic challenges for that matter. So, since I was just taking a review of the situation there, as in the kind of challenges that these kind of courses that are already available there, and I'm sure that with you joining classes in IGNOU, all these challenges which usually the students face out there when they look forward to joining or to gain a greater fluency or proficiency in English will be kind of taken care of in these classes. So now and since Africa has become kind of a society which is multicultural society, it's a plural society. So definitely the need arises to connect to people who are coming across the globe. Okay. Now, my very fundamental question, since we've already warmed up, I've seen your faces, you've seen mine, and I'm placing myself in a context in which you are already existing, that is a political and economic context. Now, by being aware of all these as a teacher, I'm moving slightly ahead in my lecture, and I'm asking you a very fundamental question, for which a slight explanation I've already offered. I'm asking you a very fundamental question, that why one should go for learning English language. Why do you want to be in this particular course? So, as I already explained from my side, that Africa is becoming a multicultural, and a multilingual plural society, and when you have diasporic communities are people who are coming from their country of origin to your country, looking for greener pastures and for various other reasons. So obviously, the indigenous community would want to connect to these particular people. Now, you need a one common communication, mode of communication, right? So you would say that mode of communication, obviously you would require, you need to connect to those people, and that is one aspect of it. And individual, the personal aspect. Now, in professional spaces also, you find professional spaces which are cosmopolitan, so it is not just that the people from other parts of the globe are living as your neighbors in the vicinity of your neighborhood, but also you find people coming across the globe from different countries, even in your work spaces as well. So now the question is, that you need to, as it's a human tendency to connect and to communicate people around you. Okay. So one common mean of communication, one language which can connect you to your neighbors, to your colleagues at the workplace, right? It's required. And English, being a very, very flexible in its approach, has sustained various kind of challenges, and it has emerged to be a common bridge, between people of different cultures, and also it helps people to communicate. It's a common medium of communication. So gaining a fluency in English and later a proficiency in the language, becomes important. It is not to undermine, the indigenous language. So you're learning English not because you want to undermine your own indigenous language, your African languages, or the tribal languages. Okay, you are learning English because you want to connect, to people. So so you have objectives, and a very, very very good objectives, in the sense that very relevant objectives, that you need to connect to people who are coming to Africa. So that's a very foremost objective. And also, you want to add on to your knowledge, because English is something that provides a common ground for communications, a common medium of communication, I would say, with people of other countries, right? So that is other reason. Okay, so the fundamental question that I was asking, that why do you want to go for English language speaking, writing, and learning, is because it is the need of the hour. Okay, and also because you want to know the language, since it has acquired a global status, right? Just to begin with, huh? So now I'll just start sharing my slides before I move on further. Anybody else wants to say something? Meanwhile, I'm starting my slide sharing. There is someone, who raised a hand. You can switch on the microphone and
Uh, hello, ma'am.
yeah, tell me, please speak.
Okay. Uh, please, is there any easy way to be a professional speaking in English language?
Not audible. Can you come up again?
I said, is there any easy way to be a professional for speaking English language? I mean, for those that are not familiar for speaking English very well.
I can't hear. Just write in the chat box.
Abdusalam, I think your voice is reflecting. Can you please remove your earphone so that people will hear you well?
Yes, it is my problem. Let me remove my phone.
Yeah, I can see a question here that is there a way of getting proficient in English quickly in professional spaces, yeah, why not? Since we have 6 sessions, we'll try to make maximum possible use. But then now this particular course relates to English in daily life, okay, not English at your workplace. So there'll be slight difference, but since I can see your concern, I'll try to address it as much as possible. But before we move on, I will actually introduce you to the learning objectives of this particular course and the learning outcomes of this particular course. Okay. And then I will introduce you to the course structure. I'll take you through all the booklets that are available. Huh? And then subsequently we'll see, I'm just sharing my slides. Just give me a second.
I can't hear anything. I don't know.
Yeah, just wait for a second. Just wait. We're trying to.
She said she was coming.
Oh, okay, sure.
Is it visible?
Yeah, it is visible.
Yes,
It's
yes,
visible now.
Visible now.
Yeah.
Yes, please.
Yes,
But how do I?
yes.
Just give me a second.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay, can you see the slides?
Yeah, Yes, ma'am, you can see it. We are seeing it.
All right. So I hope that you can see the slides now. So
No, please.
this is the name of the course, BEGLA 135, English in Daily Life. Now we come to the objectives of the course so that it becomes clear exactly what this is all about and how this intends to be different from the ones that you might have attended earlier, and what difference will it make to your present state of competence, right? So, and if you don't understand any word, which I'm speaking,
Please,
you need
ma'am,
to.
can you zoom it? Most of us we are using phone. We are not seeing it clearly.
You're not seeing it clearly. Okay.
Yeah,
What about this?
partially nice.
Much
Okay.
better.
ठीक है. Okay. So let us go through the objectives of this particular course. Now, this course, now all of you must attend to it very carefully so that you have a clear idea of what objective of this particular course would be, and how this would lead you to what exactly you are expecting from it. Now, this course is specially designed, uh, this for learners. So it is a learner centric course. That means that whichever activity, whichever skill is has been mentioned in this particular course, they have been very, very sensitive to the needs and the expectations of the learners, right? So when you would go through the blocks, you would not face any difficulty whatsoever. The writers, the teachers who prepared the course have taken this into due consideration. Now, the objective also is that you, as living in Africa and other countries, I've been told students from Mauritius are also there. So they are able to, since they are a part of plural society, they are part of multicultural society, so they're able to communicate. And even within your own African friends also, you are able to communicate very clearly and very, very effectively. Okay, so that's another very main objective of this particular course. Now, when you are through with the 6 sessions, then we'll come back to these objectives and we'll see how much we've been able to attain those. So let us see how many of you are able to communicate very, very clearly what you want to say. You're able to say that. And are you able to say that in the way that it makes an impact on the listeners, right? And also, so that would mean that this course objective, one of the very main objective, is to make you fluent in English. Okay. Also, the other main objective of this particular course is that you become not just fluent but proficient also in this particular course. So that means that this course is not for the basic skills. We are assuming that you already have basic skills in English and you're aiming for greater proficiency in this language, right? So therefore, whatever activities you would be asked to do, they are not of very basic nature. There are words, the vocabulary is slightly, on the little standard, as far as on the words that have been used in comprehension or in essays or short stories, right? So we're assuming that you're able to understand basic English when you're reading it. Also, the other objective of this course is that you gain a fluency in all the skills or the sub skills of the of communication, in English communication. That is through the practice of readings, through the practice of writing, through listening, and through speaking. Okay, so all these 4 skills you acquire, you command, and for gaining fluency and also greater proficiency in this particular language. So these are the objectives. Further, also, we want you to be very accurate in what you read, in what you write, in what you listen, and in what you speak, which means that quite a focus on grammar will also be given. So how a particular sentence is constructed, how are you able to deliver, because if it's a good construction of a sentence, then obviously the impact would be more. So here we are not concerned about just the learning the basic skills. Okay, we are concerned about gaining better proficiency. Okay, so definitely the accuracy becomes a part of it, because we feel that for learning a language of a basic level, fluency is important. Fluency precedes accuracy. These are the reports, the scientific investigations that have been done, the field data that has been collected. It shows that for learning any language, you needn't actually learn grammar first, but then for gaining proficiency in that particular language, you need to know different kind of aspects of that language. So since in this particular course, we are concerned not just with fluency, but also greater proficiency. So we'll take you through grammar exercises also, so that you acquire greater accuracy when you use English in writing, when you listen to audio in English, when you want to speak English, it should be accurate. When you want to read English, it should be in the right pronunciation, and understood in the right context. Further, if you also, the objective of this particular course is your enhancement. When you learn English, then obviously your personal skills, your personal confidence, it's going to increase definitely, and thereby increasing your social presence, adding on to your social skills, you would feel more confident. Like one of the student was asking, that he wants to learn English very quickly, in the professional spaces. So, yeah, so therefore, enhancement of all this will automatically be a consequence, it would be a result of the hard work that you would do while practicing all the skills of the English language. And of course, you will be able to enjoy better, you will be able to connect and communicate better, in your plural social spaces, in your plural professional spaces also, right? So these are the, because in the social spaces, as we were discussing, you find people from other countries, staying in the neighborhood, you meet them in the marketplaces, you meet them in the banks, and people from, and so what is the connect, how do you communicate with them? So you need a language, since we were talking about one common medium of communication. So because of the plurality of the spaces, because of the multi-ethnicity and multi-cultural spaces that you find yourself to be part of, so the one common medium of communication becomes important, and English finds itself to be more suited to it. So you will be, as I said, you will be more communicative, and you would connect more, if you learn English very well, right? So these were the course objectives. Now we move on to the learning outcomes of this particular course. Okay. Now, in the learning outcomes, if you go through, as in whatever is asked you, to be the activities or the various kind of audio scripts that you're expected to do, various kind of readings that that you would be making, and writing, whatever kind of essays or whatever paraphrasing or summarizing you're expected to do, right? Or the answers to the comprehensions. So when you do all that, when you command all that with accuracy, when you do it, okay, and also with the sense that, there would be a lot of enhancement of your knowledge, along with other positives that are going to come. So we can see that a lot of outcomes, that we are expecting, or you would get, from this particular course. Okay, so you become more fluent and more proficient, in English. Okay, if you, as I said, if you would go through as you're expected to, through the blocks, and then of course, you gain greater accuracy, in this particular language. So these are the learning outcomes, and furthermore, what are the outcomes? Of course, your knowledge and confidence, will definitely be more. Now, when it comes to reading, reading, obviously, if you are given a particular piece of English, be it anything, your novels, since you are a social work student, you would have books, So when you read those books, right, you should be able to read them well, meaning you should be able to read between the lines, meaning that you should be able to understand the context, in which that reading has to take place. Okay, so all the aspects of reading which are there, which makes it a complete and holistic reading, should essentially are the learning outcomes of this particular course. Now, reading, effective reading would mean that you would be told what are the different kinds of readings. Some students, they do silent reading, some, and some do some read aloud. So the different kind of reading strategies, which are there. There is skimming, there is scanning, which is there, and how to get most out of that reading. Okay, so how to make efficient reading. So when we go through the exercises, when we pick up the blocks, we'll make sure that, that our reading habits are developed accordingly. Okay, so all the learning outcomes are being fulfilled when we are going through the blocks. And also, when you read, it is important, to take notes. So note taking, for maybe if you're writing any literature review, or you're writing any term paper, you're writing any exam for that matter. So it is taking notes also while you're reading is important. All this adds on to your in kind of making it more cemented. And for example, now in these particular blocks, we've given you short text, some short stories, some comprehensions to read, and then we're asking you to answer, some factual questions, some inferential questions from that particular text. So reading important, how to read so that you can answer all that, okay, through different strategies of reading, okay. So, and then whatever is in front of you, be it what I give you here, we practice here, or be it your any social work book, so you should be able to interpret that information very well, in proper context, be it in form of charts or tables, anything, you should be able to interpret that information, okay, and take out the main ideas, okay, and also some supporting details of those particular ideas. And you should be able to predict, okay, what exactly can happen later. So all these kind of things that make, as I said, a complete reading uh, 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 skill, that we would try to master. And also sometimes we ask you to identify topical sentences, in a comprehension, okay. So different kind of ways in which reading can be strengthened, okay. They are made a part of all these blocks, so that once you go through these particular aspects of, wherein you require English, so in your daily life, okay, so it doesn't become a challenge for you. So this reading will definitely be strengthened. And then the other aspect is the this writing aspect. Writing we can take later, because reading and then listening, speaking, they take a prior, you know, prior, I would say, a stance, because writing is something that you would do at a later stage. So listening, for example, so do you listen to English songs? How many of you listen to English songs?
I'm done.
Okay, I can
Four of
assume that.
us.
I
I
can
hope
assume.
four of
Please
us.
put your, okay, please put your microphones off now. So I'm assuming a lot of things on my own because I'm again assuming that I already know a bit of my students, And anyway, so listening, you most of you must be listening to English songs, and so are you able to identify, are you able to identify different kind of listening, that is required? Sometimes you are not that attentive, sometimes you are very attentive, and sometimes you're not very attentive because you're not able to understand it. Anyway, listening music doesn't require any language. Music is above any language barrier. But then if you need to understand the lyrics of it, definitely, you would want to know more about that particular language because you love those music and the songs in that particular language. Okay, so different kind of listening skills we would introduce you to, and how to make these listening skills strategies more effective. Okay, there are in our ODL course, we have audio scripts also available with us, and also at your work, at your home, you can kind of listen to different kind of comprehensions, short text, short stories, okay, to enhance your listening skills. Because the more you listen, see, the more you practice, the more command you would have. There is no shortcut to practice. Okay, we can introduce you to how that practice can be more strategized, so that the time you put in can be more effectively put in, can be more efficacious. But practice you have to do. Right? And uh, and the listening to different kind of short text to comprehensions, and also you can listen to some recorded speeches. Okay. You can listen to Nelson Mandela's speeches, and you can jot them down. You can kind of read them aloud. So all these things, whatever interests you in that particular language, uh, go ahead and you should start practicing it. And also when you listen, you would understand the different kind of accents. People from Africa would be speaking English in a different accent. People from India would be speaking English in a different in accent. From America, the accent would be different. An Englishman would be speaking English in different accents. So all these things you would learn, you would understand, you would differentiate, you would discern, right? If you attentively listen, actively listen, you should not be just a receiver of any song. You should not be immune. I mean, be an active listener, be an active reader. So that activeness needs to be there, so that you can pull up your fluency to proficiency. So, and even when you listen, as I was saying in the reading, start taking notes. Note taking is very, very important. See, we are telling you that there is reading skill, writing skill, listening, and speaking skills, okay, or other sub skills. But all the four skills, they are not separate, they are not watertight compartments, okay? They cannot be. So if you're listening, if you're active listener, you can only become an active listener if your pen and paper is ready, if you do a note taking thing. If you're reading, you're note taking thing, meaning the writing is going on simultaneously. Okay, so one skill cannot be practiced or mastered, alone. Okay, you need a combination of different skills to master it, right? So this was the listening thing. So as I said that when you listen carefully, you are able to make out different kinds of sounds when you listen to short text or music. And then if somebody asks you to do something, you're able to carry out those instructions. So start listening to short stories, and then you can there are different kind of activities that come, that you listen to stories and you start rearranging pictures according to those stories. So there are various activities. Or you simply listen to short descriptions of common objects, and you start identifying the objects. So these are but activities at a very basic level. So this is the other skill. Now, speaking skills. Now, when we say that the learning outcome is to develop effective speaking skills. Now, what would that mean? Now, this is something that you actually you urgently need. You want to introduce yourself, you want to greet people, you want to make a small social talk, you want to say goodbyes to people. So this is the speaking skill is something that you really, really want. So speaking skills would mean different kind of speaking skills are there. Okay. And as I said, when you speak, and if there is a mother tongue influence when you speak, then you should not be embarrassed about it. Are you okay?
Yeah, we are okay, ma.
So the mother tongue influence is all right. Okay. So, and then, you can resort to dictionaries and all for correct pronunciations. You should also know how to read dictionaries. Okay. So how that particular word, is presented in linguistic form, So dictionary usages are good, and because that builds up your vocabulary also at the same time. All right. So when you speak, the syllables, how they are placed, okay, and what is where the stress has to be on that particular word, and what should be the tone of that particular sentence or particular word depending upon the situation. Okay, so all these things. And then using that particular stress or the tone very appropriate, because it comes to grammar, as I said, grammar has also has been made an important part of this particular course, because we are aiming not just for proficiency but accuracy as well. Okay, so otherwise, if you learn English at basic level, grammar is not that required. But since I said this course is not for the students who are looking forward to having only the basic skills, okay, this is for something who are going for little higher. You can call it an intermediate level, if not the advanced level. Okay, intermediate levels. So for that, you need to touch grammar aspect also. So in grammar, you have, like for example, a particular word is there. Any particular word, you can, for example, a tree, okay, or if not tree, maybe practice, for example. We're using this word quite often here, practice. Okay, now practice can be used as a noun also, as a verb also. So when you speak English, if you're learning English at the basic level, you can make spelling mistakes and no problem. The stress thing also, where how to differentiate through stress, through speaking, a noun and a verb. You know how to differentiate between noun and a verb by writing. Okay, but how to differentiate between noun and a verb by speaking, by using the correct stress, is something which is learned at an intermediate level, not the basic level. Okay, and you hear it, not the basic level, the intermediate level. So the grammar has become an important part for you. So you should know what noun is and what verb is. You should know the difference in the spellings when you use practice as a noun and as a verb. And when you speak also, how the stress has to be. Okay, and in speaking, for example, maybe you read something, okay, and I ask you that you now the paraphrase it for me, and paraphrase and speak what exactly this particular the short text which I gave you was all about. Okay, so you should know paraphrasing, what is paraphrasing, what is summarizing, what essentially I have to do. So that quick paraphrasing, all these things. Okay, and when you do that speaking, because it's not a speaking at the basic level. So always keep in mind your aims and objectives and learning outcomes when you are going from one block to the other, when you are trying to traverse within the same block through different activities. You have to make sure that you're not taking a shortcut at all. Okay? You're not taking a shortcut at all. You have to address grammar thing as well. Okay? So, all right. So, and whenever you speak, take care that your sentences are the coherent sentences, they are well articulated, okay, and all these things. So the sentence structure is followed. Are you familiar with sentence structure? What is a structure of a basic sentence, if I may ask you? Since this is not a class meant for English learning at a basic level, it is an intermediate level. So, can I ask you?
Yeah.
Yes.
What is a structure of a sentence?
Structure.
SBO. Subject verb objects.
Anyone? Okay, so tomorrow when we meet, I want to know what is the structure of a basic sentence. So many have raised the hands.
Subject plus verb plus
Very
objective.
good. Very good. Very good. So just give me an example and just tell me. Okay, maybe Kaima.
Okay.
Kaima is here.
Hello. Hello. Can I say something?
Yeah,
Yes,
please go ahead. Yes, Kaima.
yeah.
Okay. Okay. Someone speaking. Or should I go on?
Kaima,
Yeah,
you want to come in?
Mahmoud, don't go on.
Abdul Salam,
Okay. So
Ibrahim, yeah. Muhammad Ibrahim.
a sentence. sentence structure is basically how all the parts of a sentence fit together. Like, for example, if you want to make more advanced and interesting sentences, you first have to understand how the sentence structure works. For example, every sentence requires at least a verb and a subject.
Yes. Anybody else? Kaima, you want to come in and say something?
Hello, good morning.
Ibrahim.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Okay.
Hello, can you hear me?
The structure. Hello.
You're
Okay, the
audible.
structure or component of a sentence includes structure includes objective. Sorry. Subject, object, and okay. Okay.
Okay. It's object,
Okay.
not
Subject,
object.
object, and verb, I think.
Okay.
Oh.
Jacob. Jacob?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. I think a complete sentence
Please go ahead.
must have the subject, it must have a subject, and then object. The, sometimes we may have subject, verb, object, and also complement. For example, if I say Jacob,
Hello? Your voice is lost its way. Some unstable connection, I guess.
Hello,
Hi, ma'am.
hello, do you allow me to say something?
Yeah, Sagir. Sagir, yeah. Let Sagir come in.
Okay. Yeah, yeah. When we structure a sentence, it means a component that of a sentence. So basically, as you asked, the basic structure of a sentence is SVO. That's when we have subject, verb, object. For example, we can say Musa kicked the ball. Musa is a subject here. Kick is a verb.
that's
Then
according
ball
to me.
is an object here. I'm communicating.
Okay. There is. I can't hear
Ma,
very clearly from
on my own
your
understanding
side.
about the
Hello.
structure of the sentence, are you with me?
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible.
Ma, are you with me?
Yeah, Abdul Salam, yes, you're audible.
Okay, I said on my own understanding about structure of the sentence, are those components that make the sentence clearly, like object, verb, and the complement merely, but it is based on my understanding. Thank you.
May I add mine, please?
Yes, want to
May I
add
say something,
something?
please?
Who's that,
Yes.
Kaima?
Can I say
Okay, go
something,
ahead.
please?
In that
Yeah.
ways.
Sentence.
Let Kaima
Yeah.
say something and then
Yeah.
please.
Sentence structure. I can say that this is an arrangement of grammatical words in a sentence. This is a grammatical arrangement of words in a sentence. That's the sentence structure. Is it okay?
Yeah, okay. Just tell us with example. Grace, come in. I think we've lost connection with Kaima.
Oh, yeah, yes. Okay. I want to, in my own understanding, it is a sentence. It is a complete sentence where we can find a subject, noun, or a verb.
Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Okay.
Hello.
Who else? Ahmed.
Hello.
Yes,
Ahmed,
madam.
yes. Mhm.
Ahmad, go ahead.
Okay. The
Okay.
structure of sentence in my own put that is you put the object in the right place that you want to make the sentence clear understood. That is my understanding. The way that you put sentence
So I
to a clear sentence.
Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Yes.
What I see that most of you, yeah.
Yes.
So yeah, more. So I see that most of you have a fair idea as in what a sentence is. It has a subject, predicate. It has a verb to it, right? So and then obviously you have the sentence becomes more complex. Because this is a basic sentence structure, and the structure becomes more complex once you get into more grammar. Right. Now, I want to ask you when you speak, okay? So, do you think that you should use a language which is very judgmental language, which is very personal language? You think that we should use a language while speaking which is very, very judgmental or a personal language? What do you say to that?
So normally, can I say something? Can I say something?
Yes, Sagar, yes. Yeah, Sagar,
The
yes.
kind of the language we speak, it's not that kind of judgmental sentence because sometimes when we are communicating, we just use we communicate by any way that we can pass our message across. For example, we have some words that are acting like a like a
Do you
sentence
understand
himself.
as
For
in
example,
judgmental meaning
word
what?
like go, stand, stop.
Judgmental would mean that being very conclusive about something, being very judgmental about something. you know. So it gets very personal also.
Hello,
Hello.
if possible.
Okay, there is a question in the chat box. Just a sec. Abdul Salam, just a sec. There is a question in the chat box. Let me address that and then we'll come to you.
Okay.
So, Timsey Hassan has asked that can you elaborate the question more? Speaking in which context are social relationships? Yes. See, whatever we'll be talking about will be strictly in terms of your daily life, the activities which you find yourself in as a part of your daily routine. Because the title is English in Daily Life. Okay. So maybe for discussions go out, but as far as possible, by and large, we would try to stick to our focus. Okay, so definitely it's about the social relationships. Okay, and otherwise as well, because it's an open-ended question. But I would want your responses in terms of the social relationships. Should we be very judgmental about things? Something that appeals us, we would say, oh, this is very good. Something that doesn't appeal us, we say, this is not good, this is bad, this is unpleasant. So being very, very conclusive and about our thoughts and ideas. So when we speak, do we need to be sensitive? Because here we are talking about multicultural spaces, we're talking about communicating in English. You would not communicate in English with your fellow African brother sister. I mean, I might be again wrong. I mean, why not? But your preferred language of communication would be your African language. But in case, but if you have someone from other country and you, while speaking with that fellow colleague or fellow friend or fellow neighbor, you start being very conclusive because you haven't have enough idea of the culture of that particular person, and you start so being very, very sensitive about what you talk. So avoid being judgmental, avoid being personal. with your language, right? So this is one thing that one needs to take in this thing. There is something that is being written in the chat box. Let me see. Let's make it slightly interactive. So I'm reading it so that I answer to your queries. Stephen says that judgmental language is a conclusive word that do not provide a platform for response or interaction. Okay. And Mahmood Muhammad Ibrahim has to say that as a suggestion, everyone should just drop what he or she wants to say. Really? You want to just say what you want to say? Muhammad, is that your idea of communicating?
No, he's
I
talking
think we
about
need to do.
issue of maybe this asking this question, asking these questions instead of just everyone trying to talk something. So one should write it. I think that's what he means by it. I think that's what he means by it.
Uh, just just come up again because I can't hear very clearly.
Oh, you can. Oh, I'm saying what he means is that
Okay,
instead of
he's
just trying to
clarifying
say it,
here. Muhammad is clarifying.
yeah,
I mean, since we are not
yeah.
following the due process in controlling our minds. Okay, anyway, so I think, you all agree to that, that yes, we need to be sensitive, because all people come from different cultural backgrounds. And when we converse with them, we communicate with them, we try to connect with them, we need to be very, very sensitive, and we need to avoid something which is very personal, emotive, very judgmental. And okay, now we come to this. We come to the last of the skills here, second last, which is the writing. Okay, which is the writing. Yeah. So in the writing, it is writing is most of the students, like when we interact, they would say, oh madam, writing is a very painful process. We can read, we can listen, we can speak, we can talk, but writing, oh, writing actually puts you, just corners you in a very tight spot. But then, you can always begin with writing very, very short and familiar sentences. You can start writing, for example, 4 or 5 sentences, in a particular day. And the various different kind of mediums. When we go from block to block, then I'm going to explain how to do that also. But right now, when it comes to writing, what are the learning outcomes that we're expecting from the course? That we should be able to write sentences, we should be able to write descriptions of different places and objects. If I ask you, for example, just write your experience of today's class, so you should be able to write. So that's one of the learning outcome that we are expecting from, that you should be able to write comfortably, in what you've been asked to do. And also, for example, when we give you short comprehension questions, you're able to write short answers to those comprehension questions. And if we ask you to write personal letters, okay, or letter to your friend, or any message or anything, you are comfortable doing it. Okay, these days anyway, you must be using all these media devices, social, WhatsApp and Facebook and Twitter, Instagram, so you have personal blogs also. Okay, so you are comfortable using it, and many of your friends might be in media and entertainment industries also. Okay, and so they might be in the writing some scripts for radio, television, right, and all that. So uh, being very comfortable with writing. And when you go to the banks, you need to write some letters to managers, because it is something which has happened, or something good which has happened, or something untoward, which has happened. Okay, untoward which has happened. So writing for those purposes. Okay, there is some problem in your area, you want to write a letter to the editor of a newspaper saying that there is a pollution problem, there's a water problem, or there is a theft. Okay, so many kind of situations are there which require you to write, so making you proficient in all those particular situations while you're doing this task of writing. And sometimes, for example, you want to write something about your personal favorite picture as in the photograph, I mean to say, and also a movie, for example, writing short movie film reviews, for yourself, for your friends, or for the purpose of sharing it with the blog, on your blog. So various kind of spaces, personal and social spaces, which you live in as part of your everyday day-to-day life, wherein you want to use English, you want to write English, in a way that is looked upon, regarded as good enough. So, meaning that how to construct a paragraph, how to kind of link one sentence with the other, how to articulate or construct that particular sentence, the syntax, like we say, syntax of a sentence by using appropriate grammar linkers, right? How to do that, and what is being coherent means, so everything should fall into one place, you was in an essay, like you have paragraphs, so the next paragraph should come out of the previous paragraph, so a coherence, a unity of thought, okay, in that particular writing. Okay, so all these things, there are different modes of writing, and all the different modes of writing would require different skills of writing. An audio script would require different skills of writing. Paragraph would require different skill. Essay writing would require different skills. Blog writing would require different skills. Personal letter would require different skills. Letter to your friend would require different skill. A report writing, for example, you have celebrated some festival in your area, some tribal festival, okay, and you want to write a report to your local daily saying that you celebrated the festival very well, and this was all what was done, and other paraphernalia along with it. So various social and personal spaces wherein you have to write, and you wish to write in a language where people from other cultural backgrounds can also understand. So that's how you need that proficiency. Then also, for example, you want to, sometimes, for fun activity, there are some scrambled sentences, you want to unscramble sentences and to make something very understandable and, worth reading, so, and then for example, you have to summarize something. Okay, there are different kind of skills, that are required. You want to summarize something. Okay, and uh, then maybe, you want to make your writing more ornamental. Okay, so for that you need to go for learning some idioms and some nice phrases. Okay, some new words, from the vocabulary. Okay, so because you must understand that this is not just about writing. We are talking here about effective writing, because here is a course which doesn't talk about just fluency but proficiency in that particular course along with accuracy. So these aspects have to be taken in due consideration when it comes to you moving from block 1 to block 4, right? So that is, and writing all about is, so these, and of course the grammar meaning, as I said, the correct sentence syntax should be there, vocabulary should be there, and all the blocks that we have presented few, they would follow all these patterns, all these patterns. Okay. Okay. Now, before I move on, if there are any queries, I can address. Okay, so we have, okay, so we've gone through the course objectives, we've gone through the learning outcomes. If there are any queries, you can come in. Anything you want to ask regarding this?
Yes, I want to ask something.
Please go ahead, Andrew.
Yeah, on writing, I've seen on several places where you write, when we are answering questions, you say we have to write maybe 300 words. I want to understand, how do you count those words? Do you count like word by word, or there's a way that you count the words? Say when you say 300, minimum of 300 words when you're answering a question, I want to understand how you count those words.
That is very, very
Okay.
important question.
In English, yeah, and I think this question pertains, I think this question should pertain more to, as in for all the writing practice, I mean, wherever it is required, but more to subjects, which go by that standard. Because in English, yeah, of course, word limit is something that needs to be respected, and that is in tandem with the time that you have. If you overstep the word limit, that means you're going to leave some other question, you're going to compromise time for the some other question. Now, this is something that is not falling within the learning outcome or the course objectives. My course objective is not how to count words in 300 words. I was trying to say if there is something which is pertaining to learning objectives and the course and the learning outcome, and the course objective. But since anyway, this is a question, I would say that 300 words, it's not strictly like 300. It could be +5, -5, +10, and -10, and words meaning that yes, each and every word has to be counted, for the 300 words. Each and every word needs to be counted for that, But in English, we generally don't mind if it is +10 and -10. I can talk about that. I don't know what parameters the social work scientists and social work teachers they take, because you have tables and all that also. So I think you should ask them as well, that what 300 means in their context. If you put in charts and tables also along with it. In English, as I said, 300, yes, you have to follow the word limit, but +10, -10, we don't mind, And counting words would mean that, yes, each and everything written down on the paper should be counted, ideally.
Okay, thank you.
Hello,
Yeah.
Ma. Even I have one question. Ma, I have the question.
Who's that? Mustafa?
Yeah. Ma, previously you made mention about an active reader or an active speaker. So how are we going to recognize an active reader or speaker? And the second question is that we are now an international student. So in our own geographical location, we are using or in the speaking of English, we are saying sir instead for your own, you are saying sir. So are we? It's possible for us to use your own and to leave our own side. Thank you, ma'am.
I could not understand the second question. Please write down in the chat box so that I can read.
Okay, thank you, ma'am.
Okay, but I did understand your first question, that madam, how do we become an active listener, an active reader? Very relevant question and very good question, because that essentially is the only way to upgrade your English from the basic to intermediate levels, from just being fluent to becoming proficient. Okay. Increase your participation. Increase your participation with what is written on the paper. How you're reading it. Increase your participation. For example, as I said, the different kind of reading skills, you know. If you get a newspaper in the morning, okay, generally, how do you read the newspaper? You skim through it. Skim meaning quickly you go through the headlines, right? Because of some reason, lack of time, paucity of time, or maybe because of the lack of interest also. Okay. Okay. So, but there are news, you know, which interest you. So you read them also, but not that effectively you read. Because when you read any piece, be it in a form of a journalistic article, or there would be some words, there would be some words which you are not aware of, or even if you're aware of, you're not aware of them completely in all context. There would definitely be certain sentences which would be very, very good sentences. So if you are a normal listener or a reader, sorry, we're talking about reader here, not a listener. If you're a normal reader, what you would do,
Hello, madam.
You would say that, okay, these words, they look pretty new, but maybe their meaning is something, something, and something that is making sense to me. And this sentence structure is good. Okay, that's it. This would not be an active participation. You know, if you ask me, I would take a pen and paper always with me, because if you're learning something, that means you are a student always. Why one forgets that one is a student, you know, when it comes to learning? And student means that you have to be aware of your role as a student. You can't act casually. You can't take your role in a very casual manner. If you are reading something, if you find some good words, why don't you jot them down? We used to do that. It doesn't
Hello, madam.
it doesn't have any shortcut. One has to go through the usual process of learning, you know. So jotting down those particular words, you know, and finding that in what other
Can I say some?
words can be used in
Can I say something?
there is some
Hello, madam.
student. Let me complete, Buba. Let me complete first.
Okay.
Okay. So jotting down those particular words, you know, and trying to use, you take 5 words and trying to use those words in sentences, you know, while you converse with people that you meet in your daily life. Some good words. Step up your vocab. Okay. Step up your vocab. And then try to practice them. That's how it is. That's how everybody has done. It's not a tablet that you just pop in with a glass of water and there it goes. All people who have good proficiency in English language have followed these simple time-tested procedures. Not everyone might acknowledge it, but I tell you, everybody has done the same thing, unless and until the language is your indigenous language. If you have to learn a second language, if you're learning a foreign language, all people have taken the same route. They might acknowledge, they might not acknowledge. Everybody has done it through pen and paper, writing it down, memorizing, practicing, and practicing more and more. So this is like called as the active participation of your own self, when it comes to learning a language. You have to consciously do it. Consciously do it. You might not like it. You might feel very lethargic about it. It might seem to be boring also, but you have to pull yourself, push yourself, and you have to do it consciously. It cannot come otherwise. It has to be conscious effort. So if you're reading something, finding good sentences, we used to do that. We as in when we were students, when we used to find good sentences, we used to make notes of those good sentences. We would appreciate those good sentences with our friends. Whenever, there was this get together, we used to appreciate these good sentences, read them aloud. Do you do that? Do you do that?
Yeah. Exactly, we do.
We should do that. Make a set of 5 to 10 good sentences. Oh, wonderful sentence. Appreciate those. And that's how you would develop a flavor of the language, a taste of the language. Like you have the taste of your dress, you know what thing would look good on you because you have been consciously doing it for long now, and because you've been so attentive to it now, it appears very spontaneous, but it wasn't so. You consciously take an interest in it. So for gaining proficiency, for gaining command, we know, all of us know, that it has to be this ruthless, this process of practicing, sharing, then practicing, then sharing, That's how one master it. Okay, so active would mean that consciously when you put yourself in, consciously you're putting your best foot forward when it comes to reading something, when it comes to writing something. Don't get satisfied that easily. When it comes to listening.
Okay, thank you very much.
Yeah, now I can take questions. Yeah.
Thank you very much. Thank you.
Madam. Thank you.
Can I ask
I have
something, madam?
question.
Please go ahead.
Yeah, I am Momondi from Uganda.
Okay.
Yes, and I was inquiring, like if we are given assignment, which link shall we be sending our assignment? Question number 2 is far away from studies,
Just give me a second. Just give me a second. Please, right now, I am not addressing these kind of questions, Okay, we'll come to the assessment part also. I have a slide. Okay. Right now, if you have anything related to learning outcomes or course objectives, then you please, this thing.
It's okay.
Hello, madam.
Yeah, please go ahead.
I have a question.
Please go ahead.
Okay. I have a question about structure of sentence. Hello?
I'm listening. Please go ahead.
Okay, I have question regarding structure of sentence. So you ask us questions about it, but we give you several answers to that questions. So I want you to explain it to us so that we can understood it very well. This is my questions.
Hello.
You can't hear me, madam?
Hello.
Hello?
Is it Ahmed Buba?
Yes, madam.
Okay. Buba,
yes,
so what I'm saying is that, okay, yeah. So what I'm saying is that a basic sentence structure consists of subject, predicate, and a verb, right? And we will come to this word by word when we start our lessons and exercises. Okay, don't worry about that. Don't worry exactly,
Okay.
about all these things. There'll be many aspects of grammar that will be taking up, not just a simple sentence structure of subject, verb, and predicate, but also how the clauses are put in,
Okay.
how
Thank
the
you.
phrasal verbs are put in, what are prepositions, everything. Okay, I'll just, when I explain you the block structures, then you would come to know that all the most of the grammar elements have been taken care of in our blocks through different exercises. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Any other question?
Hi, ma.
Thank you.
Hello.
Yeah, you're audible. Rashidat?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. Please, my question is on the course material. I think I asked that question in the chat box earlier. It wasn't answered. I asked if the course material said we are to listen to some audios to answer some questions on the course material. When I went through it, there was no audio to listen to. I couldn't find any audio in the material, and there were questions that had to do with listening to audios. I don't know if we missed
Okay.
it or there's a way to access it. Thank you.
Okay. I will update you with this, that why the audio files are not available. Okay, Rashidat? I will let you know what is the problem, if there is any.
All right.
Okay?
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Okay. Somebody else? No.
Hello? Hello?
Yes, yes, Mr. Muntali.
Yes, good afternoon, good morning.
Very good
My
afternoon.
name is Ndamiwe Muntali, and
Yes.
I'm from Malawi. And
Great.
the presentation is very nice, and you have known now the objective of this course. At the same time, we also now well know the learning outcomes. And they are very good learning outcomes that all of us we are going to learn in this period of our training. And I wanted just to find out more on the assessment of our learning outcomes. Like here, I can see that there are some learning outcomes more about speaking. How are we going to be assessed on somebody that now is able to speak fluent English? Are we going to have some audios, or maybe there are ways that we are going to be assessed on these ones? That's
Yeah.
my question.
Yeah, absolutely.
Thank you so much.
Absolutely. I think there's a question, as I said, because this particular course, though I am taking care that it is delivered in an interactive mode, but it doesn't have any practical aspect as in terms of assessment. Okay. And regarding the audio files,
Yes, I have a question.
I will let you know why the audio files are not being visible on eGyankosh. Are you familiar with eGyankosh?
No, I'm not familiar with.
Okay, please note down. This is IGNOU eGyankosh website site. eGyankosh. Okay. So I will, maybe the audio files are available on eGyankosh, and if there is some format which I can share with you in the class, I will let you know.
Thank you, ma'am.
Okay. Otherwise, in the blocks, so do you have access to the study material?
Yes, I have access to the study materials.
How do you have access to the study material? In what form study material is available to you? Hello.
Hello, madam.
Come
Is there
again.
anyone?
I didn't get you right
Madam.
because there are some background noises.
What I'm
Yes,
asking
we
is
have.
that, is
Yes.
study material accessible to you? And if it is accessible, in what form? Soft copy of study
Yes,
material
we
program
have
guide
accessible in
reference can be downloaded from IGNOU. Yeah,
Hello,
sir
madam.
has briefed us that I too wrote before it that from IGNOU you can download the study material. Do you understand this website now? This is not a website. This is part of the site of IGNOU. You open the main IGNOU website, and you even on the Explorer, Google Explorer, if you fill in IGNOU, BEGLA135, all the blogs, all the study materials of BEGLA135 will come in. I will show you one of the blogs I have just loaded here. Will it be visible? Is it visible? IGNOU website? Huh? No, no. Okay, tomorrow I'll let you know. So what you can do for today after the class, or maybe you take rest, and after that you open IGNOU BEGLA135. Okay?
Hello, madam. Hello, madam.
Am I audible? Yeah, tell me.
Yes. We have access to that material, madam. So, that's inside our learning management system already, and we already download it.
You've downloaded it already?
Yes, in learning management system. So we get all the materials to read and already download it too. So I just want to advise everybody that just go and follow the instructions we made that they were sent to us about the learning management system. So you need the material there and you can download it.
Yeah.
Hello?
So the fellow student has already done it. So
Please, Ahmad.
all of you can follow this.
Please, Ahmad, can you send those link in our group?
A learning management system where that you have logins. When you log in, you see it. They only log in the learning management system where you have managing your assignments. So you see all facilities there. So you can download it and make it into your PDF site. Print it out. It.
Okay. I think there is some question, as Stephen has said, that are we continuing to learn? See, the class is still going on, and it is important to know exactly, to tell students as in about this IGNOU question, since they were not that familiar, okay, and to know their side. So we are moving ahead now with the methodology that that would be followed, in this particular class, which would be that the classes would be interactive, okay, very much communicative in approach. If I complete one or two topics, then I would come back to my students and ask them, any kind of problem, any suggestion, any statement, any observation, any conclusion that they have to make, and which we are doing it also, right? And then the different kind of sub skills, like the reading, writing, speaking, which and listening, which needs to be honed, and which we are looking forward to, and which we are trying to upgrade from being fluent, to being proficient, from being basic to being intermediate levels, happen by the use of wide variety of text, could be audio text, could be listening text, could be reading text, okay. So different kind of text, they would be used for enhancing all these skills, right? And also grammar with it, right? And then of course there is an assessment which is going to happen, And assessment is going to have, there would be two-way process. One is your assignments. You would be asked to write assignments, and your test, since it comes under E-Vidya Bharati project, so you will be tested also. You would had do you have any idea about the assessment? In yesterday's induction, was the assessment discussed?
Hello? Hello?
Hello?
No, ma'am.
It wasn't discussed.
Hello?
Okay. So you will have term and exam, and this term and exam will have total 17 questions. Am I audible?
Yes, you are.
Yes, you are, madam.
Okay. So this term and exam will have 17 questions. Okay. And out of those 17 questions, you need to attempt 12 questions. Okay. And these 17 questions will be distributed like the 7 questions will be short. Hello?
Someone should mute his microphone.
Please, Ahmad, can you stop your mic?
Hello? Yeah.
Hi.
So, yeah, there will be 17 total number of questions, and 7 questions will be short answer type questions. You need to attempt 5 questions out of 7. Then there will be medium answer type questions, wherein again 7 questions will be given, and you need to attempt 5 questions. So there are choices, enough choices, enough options you have. 5 out of 7 short answer type, 5 out of 7 medium answer type. And then there will be 3 long answer questions, and you will have to attempt only 2 out of the 3. So which means that lot of disturbance, please. Salisu, please switch off your microphone. Thanks. Okay. So which means that there are 17 different, there will be total 17 questions, and you will be able, and you have to attempt 12 questions out of 17. That is 5 short, 5 medium, and 2 long questions. Okay. And the short answers will be 4 marks each. Medium answer would be 10 marks each, and long answers would be 15 marks each. Is it clear?
Yes.
Very clear, madam.
Is it clear?
Clear, madam.
Oh,
Yeah.
great.
Yeah, madam. Hello. Hello, ma'am. I want to ask a question, madam. Hello?
Yeah. So let's move ahead now. Now, this particular course will talk about different kind of social spaces which you would find yourself to be part of. That is entertainment, could be education, since you're social science students, social work students, sorry, you would go out and you would do kind of field work and all. And the banks, as we were saying, is other set of social space that you would find yourself to be a part of. And then market areas are other places where you would go and you would meet people from multicultural spaces. You would want to communicate, connect with them through a language which is a common connect, common bridge, common medium. And then while you're traveling, you're making travel plans or similar kind of setups, you would require a language which can be proved to be a common medium of communication, right? And other kind of social interactions, maybe family get-togethers, social get-togethers, and things like these. So all these things would require you to connect to people who come from multicultural backgrounds, and you need a language which can serve as a common medium for all these spaces. Now, all the blocks, that you have, that is the 4 blocks in total, they are going to have activities, that actively engage you rather, in terms of listening, in terms of reading, in terms of speaking, in terms of writing. And then these are finally, we are coming to the blocks. So, my dear students, my dear learners rather, you would have 4 blocks. If you go to IGNOU BEGLA135 website, all the materials you can download from there, and you would see that this particular BEGLA135 has been kind of discussed within these 4 blocks. The title of the blocks I read, that is block 1, titled as Greetings and Goodbyes. Block 2, titled as The World Around Us. Block 3, titled as Media and Entertainment. That's how it has been titled. And block 4 is the Burning Issues. Okay, so these are the 4 things. Now, since the title is English in Daily Life, okay, so daily you are required rather to interact with people from other countries, when it comes to greeting, goodbyes, conducting a small talk, and the world around us, like we were talking about the banks or the travel things and other spaces, the markets, the shops, okay. And also when it comes to media and entertainment, there is something, that you would need English to communicate with, since you need to connect with people from other countries as well. And while living day-to-day lives, there are many, many burning issues that you find yourself concerned with, like you were talking, there is some problem in your area, pollution or the theft or electricity problem, could be anything, Okay, so basically we have tried to cover up all the possible aspects, when you talk about living, when you talk about carrying out your day-to-day activities, and how you can enhance your experience, by learning a language and connecting to people who are coming from other places, helping them out in the other way also, building a friendship, and a more enriching social space, right? So all kind of selections have been done for all kind of skills, and most of them, they deal with issues of contemporary relevance. We've tried to include topics, as I said, previously, of introductions, greetings, topics of travel and health, and fitness, of a bit of workplace also, I would say, and social values also, for example, concerned with class, caste, gender, peace, etc. And also something else. So basically, we've tried to draw examples and text, from your day-to-day life, and by involving you into issues, that concern you as thinking individuals, so this programs basically also, we can say, that raises your levels of social awareness, not just gives you command over the language, to express your ideas and concerns. So one thing, when you are practicing these skills, listening, reading, writing, we, as I was saying, that, that we need to reread the passages which have been given to you. Okay, even if it is a audio, it has been written down for you. Okay, so read and reread the passages. Whatever the study material is given to you, you please read the study material, reread the study material, and so that you keep making more and more sense of what you are reading, so that you can gain greater fluency and proficiency in the thing. Okay, so all these exercises, activities that are of much relevance to you, so they have been used as a teaching device, as a part of a methodology, so that you develop an understanding, not just of the given passage, but of the language as well. Okay, and also I want to state here that when I go through the structure of the unit, there are some answers, there would be answers given to the questions that are asked, so I would suggest, that you do not go and look at the answers directly, but practice, you attempt it first, and then you go to the answers to find out whether how far, you've reached, and how much improvement you need to make, and how much potential also you already have. Okay, and there are vocab sections given, as I said, to enhance your word power. We suggest that you try to make sense of the meaning by the context in which that word is given in the passage, but also at the same time, having said that, use the dictionary also for finding the exact meaning. Okay, so that is where the activeness would come in. And for listening also, I reiterate, that is, I repeat that it's a good idea if you take down notes so that you can listen to the each text twice, once when it is going on, and so everything should be like practiced, as in you need to do it once and twice and thrice. Okay, so in writing section also, we've given you sample answers, but then you write your own answers, and then you can match it with the model answers given, and then you can see where the improvement can be made. And as I said, the answer key contains answers to all the exercises. And also in grammar, I must tell you that there can be certain variations in grammar. For example, for a particular fill in the blanks, maybe 2 or 3 answers are possible, but it is all right. Okay, so that is one thing I had to share with you. And then we basically have tried not to preach anything, here, but rather to help you to be proficient, through different activities and exercises. Okay, and but then we request you also to honestly attempt all the activities, all the exercises and questions that we have set for you. Okay, because we believe that only the use of the language, as much as you use, as much as you practice in terms of reading, writing, listening and speaking, you facilitate your own learning of the language, and so you acquire a greater language proficiency into it. Okay. So yeah, so these are I would just skim through, though the time is not there. We'll continue tomorrow, but still we have 5 minutes. So, okay, last 5 minutes, I'll open it. We'll start with the structure of the units in tomorrow's class. Okay, so last 5 minutes, I'll open the class for any discussions, doubts, if you have. Yes, my dear learners. We've last 4 minutes for the class to get close. So if you have any queries, any doubts, any suggestions, please go ahead.
Hello.
Yes, please.
Hello, madam. Nami? Yeah, thank you so much for the presentation. And this has been a very good presentation. And it would be nice that every time when we have this type of presentation, it will also be good that you share with us those presentations. Sometimes we might miss some other areas, but the presentation will help us to follow up whatever we have been trained.
Sure.
So it
Don't
would be nice
worry.
that you
All
share
these
us
things
the
will be
present.
shared.
Yeah. Thank you so much, ma.
Thanks. There are some students writing, add me, please. What does that signify? Another issue is about the iCard. I don't know whether I'm the right person to address all these issues. Some of you, you have not managed to download the iCard. Okay. I'll inform the concerned, okay, that you have not been able to receive the iCard.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hello?
Yes, please.
I want to ask you, after this course, talking about graduation, where will it take place? Is it online or will you go to India to participate in graduation?
Sorry, I didn't understand.
I mean during graduation. Where actual graduation will take place after this course?
Please write in the chat box.
Hello.
Clear.
Hello, madam.
Hello.
I mean, where actual graduation will take place after this course? Where actual graduation will take place after this course?
He isn't in the best position to give a reason to that. We would have asked that in the induction meeting yesterday. So she's just out with her uncle for BGL 125. So the person or the authority relevant or necessary to answer that question should be the school management. So should
If
have
sir
asked
is
that.
there with us, maybe he can
Yeah.
answer these queries of graduation
Yeah.
ceremony and all that. Uh, uh,
Hello, ma'am.
Gina,
Hello.
hello, Professor Gina, Professor Pravat Kumar Gina.
Yes, madam.
Sir?
Madam.
Yes, sir. Sir, do we have to close the class?
Yes, yes, madam. Now time is 5, so we can close now. If there is no further query, you can close, sir.
No, there was a query actually. They're asking that, you know, some students have not been able to download the iCard.
Again, if they have not downloaded the iCard, they can send an email to RC Bhubaneswar with their enrollment number so that we will be sending the iCard to them. Another query I have noticed that some learners they are complaining that if it is possible it is possible to change the time because that this time is not comfortable to them. So I think this time is comfortable to most of the students, but only one student is complaining.
Maybe, okay, sir. So,
Okay,
sir, can
madam.
we close the class for today then?
Yes, madam, we can close. And students, if you have any further query, you can send email to RC Bhubaneswar. I am writing the email ID of RC Bhubaneswar. If you don't have received the iCard, you can send the email to RC Bhubaneswar so that we will be sending the iCard to you. But while sending email, you should mention your enrollment number with program code.
Okay, thank you so much. So I'll see you again tomorrow.
Okay, madam. Thank you. Thank you very much. And thank you all the learners.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much. And everybody, guys, we can have what we want to know in the WhatsApp platform. Thank you so much, ma. Thank you so much. We really appreciate it.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, members, I think the class is done, but I was just requesting if one of us can form a WhatsApp group that will help us to communicate effectively.
Yes, please.
You
Yes,
can
we
check in
already have a
the
chat
Mandable,
book
messages.
one
in the
platform
chat book.
can create WhatsApp platform so that we can communicate and share information in WhatsApp.
A WhatsApp group has already been
Join the WhatsApp group in the chat box.